Get ready, Eugene MX. Let's ride our dirt bikes, brothers.
I'm gonna let everybody go. Have fun.
Alright guys, here we go. I'm so excited to be back at Eugene MX. I've only ridden here 2, maybe 3 times. All last year. Had a great time out here. We got the crew together. Josh rode up with me. Brad showed up. My buddy Dan. And a few other guys that I don't remember everybody's names. But we had a great crew out here today. We showed up. It had rained the whole way up here. A little bit of concern over that. I know this place, it's kind of clay based, so it can get pretty swampy and slippery out here. But these guys up at Eugene MX do a great job with this track. And the traction is just phenomenal up here. I don't know, I don't get to ride stuff like this very often, so every time I come up here, it's just, I can't believe how good the traction is on days like this. Like I said, I know they run during the winter all the time, so they know how to deal with the rain and drainage and all that stuff. But I have seen some pictures of it getting pretty nasty out here, and I think it could get really slippery if it got enough water. But I've been fortunate and able to get out here and get some perfect conditions like we had today. Coming out, getting the first laps in, you know, running it pretty slow, just to get a roll lap in and get a feel for what's going on. Of course, I rode yesterday, the day before, at Moto 541, so kind of trying to get my body loosened up here a little bit. But the layout today was really fun. The track was pretty simple. I think they kind of build up to it through the season, start making it more technical and throw some more obstacles out there for guys. But this was the first practice of the year. Excuse me. First official practice of the year. So I think they were trying to keep it pretty safe for everybody. This little double here was probably the most technical part of the track, other than a couple of slippery sections. There's one section in the back that was a little bit squishy, but not too bad. Like I said, the traction up here is just phenomenal. We've got a lap in. We're going to start trying to pick the pace up a little bit. And my buddy Dan coming up alongside me here. I thought we were going to take it easy early and kind of get warmed up because we're old guys, and I think Dan had a different idea. He was just ready to go. So he's ready to put in some hot laps, and I'm not going to stand in his way. But yeah, one of the things I remember about this place, riding in the slow big bike class, which is the class I normally ride in, there's a lot of different skill levels out here. A lot of people, a lot of kids, you know, just trying to figure out how to ride dirt bikes and you know, ride motocross. And so I try to give them plenty of room and not pass too aggressive or anything. And you know, that's kind of what you're seeing here on my second lap. Dan's just running away from me. He's going for it. He's having fun passing people, and I'm still trying to figure out how much traction there is in this dirt. And I will tell you, there's a lot. So kind of hoping I can keep up with Dan a little bit, maybe keep him in sight at least. So I start trying to remember how to jump these back tabletops. And yeah, just couldn't have been a better day out here. It was perfect. They were actually watering the track a little bit when we got here, which I was like, wow. And we all were pretty close to skipping this first session. Okay, get that double on the second lap. I want to make note of that. Yeah, trying to figure tracks out a little bit quicker than I normally do. But anyhow, yeah, they were watering the track when we got here. We were kind of wondering why. So we were going to skip the first session and wait for it to dry out a little bit. But after the first class of guys came around off the track, Their bikes didn't look too muddy and the dirt looked pretty good, so we decided to go ahead and go out for the first session. And definitely glad we did, because the dirt is really good. This is such a fun track. It's just different from a lot of the stuff I run, I guess. My local track, Moto 541, I love it, but you're not going to find traction there, so that makes it's a different type of challenge, and it gets ruddy, and it gets some pretty big braking bumps in it from time to time. Definitely some accelerating bumps. This track, like I said, I haven't been here a lot, but I feel like it stays smoother. The dirt packs down a little bit, and there's, like I said, there's lots of traction in it, especially in a day like today. It gets really hard packed towards the end of the day and starts drying out a little bit, but yeah, this is just it's just a different type of dirt than I'm used to running, but I love it. I think this stuff's awesome. This ranks pretty high as one of my favorite tracks. It's not really big, it's not a massive track, but they do a lot with what they have. And like Albany, I think it's the same guys that run Albany are affiliated with this track somehow, but like Albany, they have different layouts of the track that they can switch up to, like, you know, depending upon weather, I suppose, and, you know, just to mix it up some, so when you come up here, you're not always doing the exact same track. And they always add jumps, subtracting jumps, doing different stuff, so at least, you know, the couple times I've been up here. And that's about as close as I came to clearing that triple right there. It kind of hurts for me to do it. It's not great on my wrist because you kind of land. There's not a really big landing to it, but I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain. It's not that much faster to triple it. It definitely is faster. I was definitely losing time there to the guys that were doing it, but I would kind of take that section and use it as a little bit of a break and not do that little triple that caused my wrist so much pain. This track is so fun on the 450, just kind of second and third gear and just let the bike eat. Like I said, you don't have to worry about traction, you just kind of go. As comfortable as you are leaning the bike over, it'll usually take it. And, you know, other than the wet, slippery sections that you kind of got to watch out for, man, it's a blast. I don't know how else to describe it. And it doesn't get super rough. It stays fairly smooth. I mean, sections of it do get choppy, but compared to what I'm used to, I don't think it's bad at all. Yeah, and big shout out to the track crew for putting together such a fun place to go ride dirt bikes. I'd like to get up here and maybe race a little bit this year, just because I do enjoy the track so much. Yeah, we'll see how it all turns out. You also know that I'm not a big mud guy, and because they do run a winter series up here, like I said, the track will take a lot of rain, but I am not a big fan of racing in the mud. I don't need any help hitting the ground. So I guess some may call me a fair weather rider, and I don't think that's quite fair, but when it comes to racing, I'd much rather do it in good weather. That goes for off-road racing too. I'm just not a big mud guy. I don't know. I just don't have that much fun doing it, and it's just too sketchy. Now, just riding in the rain, just going out for a ride in the rain, I have no problem with that. You know, because you're not really pushing the pace. You can just kind of ride whatever you're comfortable with, and, you know, you're not trying to beat anybody or be faster than anybody. No pressure. You just go out for a ride. Funny being a Pacific Northwest kid. I grew up here my whole life, and like I said, I don't mind riding in the rain, but I don't want to race dirt bikes in it if I don't have to. Not really sure what lap times are here. Maybe a minute and a half. Maybe a little longer for us slower guys. Oh! That's no fun. But it does happen to the best of us. You can see I got a little mud on the camera lens. Luckily it didn't block anybody's view because I was not doing a good job of wiping the lens off today. Really cool to get Josh up here too. I've been trying to get Josh to get out of the valley a little bit and get out and hit some of these moto tracks with me. I mean, I'm going anyways. May as well come along for the ride. And yeah, he was pretty excited about coming out, hitting Eugene MX, and was pretty pumped up about it. I actually texted him at, I don't know, 5 o'clock in the morning when I got up, and it was pouring at my house, absolute downpour. And I was like, hey man, are you sure we want to do this? Because this could be bad. He said, yeah, I want to go. Let's go. It'll at least be a fun drive. And I was like, all right, dude. Well, I'm in. But I'd have been just fine staying home. And every time I do that, it ends up being a perfect day like this. So I'm glad that he kind of nudged me into getting my butt out here and going. But it's really not a far drive for me. It's about 3 hours, so it's not a big deal. It's all freeway stuff for the most part. All right, session 1 in the books. Woo! Session 2, here we go. Yeah, I don't know a lot about bike setup. I've been riding dirt bikes for a long time. My KX450 really likes it here. I'm running an AT82 rear tire. I'm running the stock Dunlop MX34 on the front with 34 hours on it. 37 hours on it now. Time to change it. It just doesn't matter out here. Traction is amazing. The AT82 works really well out here. But to be honest with you, I think any tire would. And you know, I did respring this bike because I'm a kind of a chunky little guy, and it works pretty well. You know, it's a little stiff for if you're not jumping stuff, but if you're trying to jump stuff and worried about not making the jumps, you know, casing it or over jumping or anything like that, the suspension works pretty well for that. Maybe a little too stiff for the slippery stuff like Moto 541, where you kind of want that front end to dive a little more instead of push. But here, this bike is, I couldn't ask for anything more. I could possibly stand to go a little stiffer on the suspension, at least the fork, but really, it's darn near perfect. I don't know. I don't have any complaints about the way my bike handles here. There's enough traction to where I don't feel like I'm able to get the front end light when I need to, and sag feels good. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure if I played with some stuff, I could probably make it better, but I just don't feel the need to when I'm here. At least not today, I didn't. But like I mentioned earlier, this is probably the easiest layout you're going to see here, and it doesn't get, I don't think it gets dramatically harder, but I mean, there'll be some more doubles and some, you know, last year I think there was a little step down and some other stuff that they'll throw out there for you. So just be aware. Track's different every time you come out here. At least that's my experience. But I don't get to come out very often. I wish I did. Yeah, this spot back here was a little bit slippery, but not too bad. And every time I came through here, it's hard to just pin it and go for it because this ground looks really hard back here. It does get a little one-lined in a few spots, this being one of them. But I think if you really wanted to push on making some of the outside lines work, you could do that too. I don't know why we're all just funneling into that one line. Yeah, I jokingly tell my buddies that this place is actually hard to break your tires loose on. And I still agree with that. It does start drying out, you know, later in the day, which is pretty common. It'll get a little powdery and maybe a little bit looser, but still lots of traction compared to what I'm used to. Like right there, some of the tighter stuff, it's kind of hard to turn because when I roll the throttle on, the front end comes up instead of the back end breaking loose. It's crazy good time out here. You'll notice I don't take a finger off that clutch lever almost ever. Because in the event of a whiskey throttle or anything, that's the only thing that's going to save me. And out here with how much traction there is, yeah, I could see it being possible if you got a little squirrely. Alright, a whole lap of silence. Alright. Yeah, so I clocked that at like 1:50, I think. Almost 2 minutes. Not bad. I should be going faster. That little step-up thing was weird. I never did get it very good, but I saw guys clearing it for the most part. My buddy Dan had a great technique, kind of a one-legged thing he had going on, but it worked for him every time, it sounded like. That's another thing. It's great to catch up with the guys, man. Just get together and go have some fun motoing. Yeah, so we're about 22 minutes into a 26-minute video, so I think I've chatted just about long enough. If you've watched this far, I really do appreciate it. I know how hard it can be to sit through some of these videos, especially if they're just spinning laps on a track. I mean, once you've seen one lap, you've seen them all, unless something awesome is going to happen. And really nothing awesome happens from here, other than I just really enjoy riding my dirt bike out here. But yeah, big shout out to the track crew. Such a fun track. If you've never been to Eugene MX, it's the old territorial track. I suggest you try to come out and spend some laps here. It's a lot of fun. But yeah, thanks for watching. Till the next one.
Did you?
I did the double 3 times.
Nice job, buddy. Woo!